everybody, I've been having a go recently at making bacon, which is surprisingly simple. A few people have asked me how you do it, so I thought, well, I'll put a video together just to show you how I make bacon. Like I say, it's relatively simple. You don't need a great deal of things. Basically a piece of loin pork, your bacon cure, a Ziploc bag, a pair of rubber gloves. So first of all then, what you need is a piece of loin pork. That's a bit on the small side really. It's that's just about 1.1 kilos in weight. You could easily do one twice that size with no real effort, but I'm just doing a small piece today. So there's your loin pork. That'll eventually become the bacon. Yeah, the next thing you need is the cure mix, and I've got this one from Tongmaster, which I've got off the internet. They're quite simple to use, straightforward. It's 100% natural, as it says on the label. You can make your own cure up. There's lots of different versions. I suggest you Google them. There's pros and cons as to whether you use the ones with the nitrates in or not. Having spoke to my friendly butcher where I get the meat from, he uses basically a mixture of sugar and salt, so no issues there with nitrates. But I've used this one. I quite like this. It's maple bacon or ham cure. There's enough in that sachet there to do a 2.5 kilo joint of meat, and as I said, I've got just over a kilo, 1.1 I've weighed it to. So what I'm going to have to do is weigh down that to the appropriate amount, otherwise it gets a bit, if you put too much in, it gets a bit salty. So I'll need to weigh out, do a bit of simple maths basically, and that 100 gram sachet does 2.5 kilo, so I reckon I need about 44 grams to do a 1.1 kilo joint of pork. So I'm going to coat that in the bacon. I also use a pair of rubber gloves because it stops you getting the cure all over your hands. And then once I've coated it all, it'll go inside a Ziploc bag, which I've got there. I will say, if you have access to a vacuum packer, they are really good. You can seal it in the vacuum pack and it works fine doing it that way. The other option, which I used the first time I did it, I sealed it in a Tupperware box or a sandwich type box. The joint I had last time was the perfect size, fitted in, and did that. So I'm going to weigh out the cure mix next, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so weigh out the seasoning mix in there and get that up to my 44 grams. Oops. That's it. That's enough seasoning there to make the bacon. The next bit is the messy bit. We're going to put the cure mix over the bacon. You see I put my gloves on for this. Sprinkle a little bit on the fatty side. Rub that in. I'll put this on a tray because I find it makes life a bit easier. And most of the mix, probably about 2/3 or 3/4 of it, wants to go on the meat side of the bacon. And rub all that in, and you'll see as I'm going on, we give this a good coating like that. Turn it over on there. Now you'll have noticed that various bits of it have fell off and gone to the tray, and this is where I find it rather handy just to sort of use the tray and it's to rub it all into the meat and get it all thoroughly coated and onto the meat, so we don't waste any of the cure. And there you go, already it starts to look a bit more bacony and a bit less like just a joint of pork. This stage now, I'm going to open my bag. It's not the easiest of things to do with rubber gloves on. Right, so got the Ziploc bag open, get the joint of pork and thread that into the bag. Move my tray out the way, put that there, and secure out the seal. That's it. There we go. Not sealing very well. I've got bits of salt and cure in me Ziploc. There we go. So that's sealed up now. Do that like that. And that's going to go in the fridge now for, it's a day for every ½ inch thick the meat is, and I've measured that to 2 inches, so that's about 4 days plus an extra 2 days. So that goes in the fridge now for a week, well 6 days, and every day you just turn it over sort of just like that, and then like that, and so on each day. And at the end of the week we'll then take it out of the bag and rinse it off, but we'll pick that up. Okay, so through the magic of YouTube, it's now a week later. The bacon's coming out the fridge. So a week later, 6 days later. Okay, so this has been in the fridge now, double bag. Okay, we'll move that over to the sink and we'll take it out the other bag and give it a wash off. Okay, so let's try and minimise the mess. Put this over the sink. You can see the colour there of the meat has changed quite a lot. And it's quite important now to give this a good rinse off. Get rid of the surplus salt and any extra bits of spices and so on that are in there. Having now washed that off, the next thing is to pat it dry. Just get the excess water off it. And you can see there that the colour of that has taken on, is looking much more like bacon. So we're not quite done there. If you wanted to smoke the bacon, now is the time to smoke it, but I don't want to do that. So the next thing I've got to do is put that on a rack and put it in the fridge for a couple of days just to dry out. Put the bacon on there like that. That'll do nicely. And then I'm going to put that back in the bottom of the fridge like that so the air can get around it. Okay, so that's now rested in the fridge for a couple of days. As you can see, it's looking very much like a piece of bacon. So get rid of the rack, and the only thing to do now is to slice it. Okay, and that's really all there is to making your own bacon. Of course, the next step is to cut it up and enjoy it. So let me know if you've had a go at making your own bacon and how successful it's been. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye.